Shalom. It is No Limit Eddie. We're back with another video. So check this out. This is one of these talking videos, man. That's just gonna be raw and uncut. So I'm not gonna be making any edits and splices, anything like that. I'm literally just gonna put this in my computer, upload it. So what I need you guys to do is to like this video. I need you to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. We're getting super close to 20,000 subscribers, which is I'm very grateful for. And then we're also looking to have you drop a comment in the comment section below. You know what I mean? I really appreciate my subscriber base and my audience, man. You guys rock. And it's a blessing to have you. So all praise to the Most High. So when it comes to Tanzania, why would I say you shouldn't move to Tanzania? So I've made a lot of videos about the positives about Tanzania, the peace that you feel here, the amount that you can learn from the locals. It's probably a truck coming by, kind of loud, but I'm not gonna make any cuts, right? So I was talking a lot about the benefits and the pluses and the advantages of being here in Tanzania, but it's also important to talk about some of the cons and things like that. And the reason in particular I'm making this video, this type of video today, was there was a comment that was left by a subscriber, Tony Morris, I believe is her name. I will put it on the screen, but I'm not editing, right? So she dropped a comment. It was like, "Yo, your videos motivated me to come to, visit Tanzania and different things like that." Which I'm like, "Wow, okay, that's dope." And there's gonna be some people also here who see my journey, different things like that, and may decide that they want to come to Tanzania, which is cool, or even try to repatriate to Tanzania and live here long term. And it's just clear, it's just dope that I have an audience that's willing to listen to what I got to say and also take action on it. But it's also puts a little bit of a burden of responsibility to make sure that I'm giving you guys clear and honest information. So one of the things that I want to say is that moving to Tanzania is probably not easy, and I'm not going to say I don't recommend it, but I almost don't recommend it, and I'm going to just explain to you guys why. So the first thing is, if you move into a country, you want to stay there long term. Staying long term in Tanzania is not a simple process. So as of now, there's only two options for you to do. Number one is to marry a Tanzanian. I think that works very well for females. I'm not sure how it works for males. Almost every country in the world, families' laws don't benefit males, and so I'm pretty, and even in a lot of countries that are not the West, females are not prioritized in a large sense, meaning that if you're a male, you want to marry a female, a lot of times you won't even get the same rights that a female who marries a male will get, because sometimes women won't be able to pass on, like citizenship or things like that to their kids, and it's a whole process. But basically what I'm saying is that's an option, to marry a Tanzanian. If you're a female, I believe that works very well. If you're an African American male, I'm not sure how well that works out. I haven't seen anybody do that successfully, except for I think Jackie Robinson's son. I think he did that option. But again, that's if you're a single male. There's a lot of people coming over here who are families, who are already married, who already have kids, different things like that. So that option kind of doesn't work for those people in those particular situations. And also some people just don't, some people also just not willing to go to that extent to live in a country. So the second option that you pretty much have is to start a business. Now, starting a business seems good. It seems like that's what everybody wants to do, but but one of the barriers to entry with that here in Tanzania is just the financial cost that it costs to start a business here in Tanzania. You can start a business for relatively cheap, but in order to start a business in order to stay in Tanzania, that's where it gets tricky. Starting a business here, from my understanding, is like $500 to $1,500. Cool. But if you want to start the business in order to live in the country, then that's when it gets dicey, in the sense that you need to get a work permit and a residency permit to basically run your business and stay here in the country. And so basically, that process is looking like $8,000 to $10,000 US in order to just take care of the formalities of starting a business here in Tanzania. Now, my guys over here, you know what I mean, my Tanzanian family, who's also a repat, So Untypical, dropped a video today talking about that whole process, the documents that they received from the lawyers, that they've been in contact with, they've been reaching out to, and these are the figures that's being dropped, $8,000 to $10,000 US, and I believe that's for one person. And you still have to put all your dependents underneath that. So if the husband would do it, then the wife and the kids and all that stuff would have to come underneath that. So it could be a costly procedure, and again, that's $8,000 to $10,000 just kind of on formalities. that you haven't even got a location for your business, you haven't even got the products for your business, the employees for your business, you're not even operating, and that will only get you 2 years, a 2-year stay here in Tanzania. So it's a little bit of a costly experience, you know what I mean? If you're somebody else who's a little bit more well established, it might work for you. But I don't know if most people are willing to dish out or shell out that type of money, or most people can dish out and shell out that type of money just to get a 2-year stay in the country. So contrast that with a country like the Gambia, where you get a 1-year residency permit for $80 US. Kind of wild. So that's the first thing. So you have 2 options: either marry a Tanzanian or you start a business, and then do the work residency permit from there. Now, another reason why I kind of would say you should be something that you should consider when moving into Tanzania is the lack of equity that a foreigner can have in a country. So it's very rare that you'll be able to own land or to own property here. The only way you can do that is doing this thing called Fumba Town, I believe, but I haven't looked too far into it. I don't have a desire to own a house. You know what I mean? That's never been something that I've been desiring. And also, I mean, I'm not in a financial position to go ahead and buy a freaking house at 21 in a foreign country. So y'all will know we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it to where I could do that if I wanted to, right? But that's kind of, Fumba Town is the only place I know of that you can do that here in Tanzania, and that's not even in the mainland. It's off on an island, from my understanding, in Zanzibar. And of course, there's not a million properties there. Not everybody's going to have that option to do that, but it is a possibility if that's something that you would be interested in. So equity, that's the reason. That's another reason why I would say be mindful of that in your decision if you want to repatriate to Tanzania or not, because if you can't own land or you can't own a house in this country, in a country that you want to repatriate to, that means you're going to be renting for the next 15 years, which is kind of like you're pouring money out and you have nothing to show for it at the end of the day. So that's if you want to stay here long term. You got to stay, I think, 15 years to get citizenship. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I believe it's 15 years. And if that's the case, you're going to be renting for the next 15 years. You won't have any property, at least in the country that you're mainly residing in, and that kind of sucks, in my opinion. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind and be mindful of. Other than that, you know what I mean, I would say Tanzania, like I say in a lot of my videos, Tanzania is a dope place. It's a really nice place. People are calm. The people are peaceful. The environment in itself is peaceful. But it's just certain things like this you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about repatriating to a country like this. Now, the last thing I would say, man, that when you're thinking about repatriating to Tanzania, one thing that is turning me off from Tanzania quite a bit is the inconsistency. I would say the inconsistency. So if you guys know, in my personal situation, I came to Tanzania under the impression I was gonna stay here for a year, 2 years, something like that, and kind of just see what the deal was. And I went ahead and applied for a student visa. Now, I didn't mention a student visa and the visa that you can get because they're basically playing with people with that process. So I paid the money for a student visa and did the whole process, and I was supposed to be granted a 2-year visa. And as far as now, I haven't been granted a 2-year visa. I've been granted a 9-month extension onto my passport or whatever. But I didn't pay the money for a 9-month extension. I paid the money for a 2-year visa. Now, my sister also paid the money to the school, but she wasn't able to pay the money for the government because they decided to halt that process because there was too many Israelites, too many Black Americans, too many of the seed of Jacob applying for student visas. So they decided to halt that process and stop it. So she's out $650 for the school, but she didn't even pay the $250 for the government to to get her 2-year stay. And even if she would have paid that whole money, she wouldn't have got a 2-year stay. She would have been in the same position as me, getting a 9-month stay. And so that to me is kind of one of the turnoffs when it comes to Tanzania, is the inconsistency. I could take the inconsistency from mom and pop business, different things like that. But if you are a government of a country and you are not following through with certain things that is literally in your law books, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence within the country itself. Now, dope place, dope country, love Tanzania, love everything about it, you know what I mean? But these are just some of the things that I gotta speak to you guys and let you guys know of when you're thinking about making a repatriation journey to a country as Tanzania. Is not saying not to do it, but I'm saying if there are reasons why you shouldn't, and these are just the reasons that I'm kind of giving out is, if you want to stay in the country long term, you know what I mean, that country's kind of doing a lot of things that not allow you to stay long term. You got to think about, are you willing to fight and to stay in a place like that, or would you rather go somewhere where they're going to be a little bit more receptive to you? So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on the whole matter, on the subject matter. Me personally, I feel like I don't know if I said it in this video or another video, I don't know, but my time in Tanzania, I feel like it is kind of coming to an end. But we're going to see what the Most High, says about it. But right now, I'm getting pulled towards equity. I want to own some land. And I want to, build what I came to Africa to build, and so that's kind of what my main focus is as of now. So looking really heavily at the country, the Gambia, over in West Africa. That's kind of where I'm looking really heavily. I've been in contact with quite a few people over there in the Gambia. So shout out to everybody that's reached out to me, that's watched my channel in the Gambia, that's reaching out to me. I appreciate you guys for the information, for sure. And yeah, it seems like a really welcoming community over there, and that's kind of where I'm looking to head. It's a black country as well, which is dope. And we can own land as a foreigner. We can own property, houses as a foreigner as well. And the process of residency seems to be quite a bit easier than it is here in Tanzania. I mean, residency card within the first 3 or so months. And it's around 80 USD. And there's been quite a few Americans over there who have done this process, and from what I'm seeing, they're not running into too many hiccups or hurdles with that whole process. Of course, there's going to be challenges no matter where you go, but you gotta determine if those challenges are, if you're willing to put up with those challenges. So yeah, that's going to be my 2 cents on the whole matter, man. I'm going to go ahead and give myself some rest. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all willing. Peace.